But when you can go into every situation with that positive perspective, it allows you to be present, it allows you to show up, it allows you to fend off all the other concerns that are going to attack you, the doubt, the worry, the anxiety, the criticism. It's not really there. It's just that negative perspective that you carried into it is making a lot of stuff appear real. Welcome to the Know I Have Cakes podcast. My name is Jim Sabellico, and this is a strategy sprinkle edition of this show. Now, if you're new here, what the strategy sprinkle is a short, practical, tactical tip to help you level up in both your personal and professional life. And today, we're going to dive into something that I love. But before we do that, just a quick reminder for you. It's super important that if you get some value out of this show, please subscribe, share it, help spread the word. It helps not only me bring on more awesome guests to help you, but also helps me get the word out and helps more people find it and helps, bring some exposure to this, which helps more people feel better and live better lives, which is what we're all after. So if you could do me that favor, it would be greatly appreciated. Other bit of housekeeping, just so that you are aware, this episode is what I said, a strategy sprinkle. Mondays, I do a Mindset Monday. Every Monday morning, I do Mindset Monday, which is a short, positive perspective to help carry you through the week. And Wednesdays is the long form version of this show. It's where I'll sit down with someone and we'll have a real raw conversation about life. Now, today being Saturday, again, the strategy sprinkle is meant to be something that is short, sweet, to the point, a practical, tactical tip, which you can use to actually level up your life. Again, both in your personal and professional realms. I want you having the whole thing. I don't want you to be a boss at work and then come home and have half a cake in your personal life, right? You want the whole thing everywhere you go. So big part of that is your perspective, right? Your emotions. Let me give you an example for a second. You and I go to a party, and as we're walking into the party, say, hey, just so you know, a lot of the people in this party don't like you. They have an opinion about you. They think that you are a jerk or you said something wrong. It might be a little contentious. So we go in, as you're there, you're starting to look around, see people looking at you, see people off in the kitchen, have a quiet conversation. Someone happens to look your way. As you're going through this, in your head, you're thinking, man, all these people are talking bad about me. They're thinking this, thinking that. They're building these opinions of you as this party goes on. And you're looking at it from the lens of already knowing, hey, what I told you going in, these people are talking bad about you. So as we leave, I say, hey, by the way, I was kidding. No one was talking bad about you. In fact, they were actually happy that you were going to be there. But this entire time, because I had told you that, you viewed everything from the perspective of negativity, right? The actions that those people took, those two people having a conversation in the kitchen, could have been about something totally different. But because you went in with the perspective of negativity, with a perspective of these people are talking ill of me, with a perspective of looking for the bad, you viewed everything from the lens of bad. Right? You viewed everything from the perspective of, hey, this is going to be terrible. These people are talking ill of me. And every action you received in a negative way. So my tip for you, right? The practical, tactical tip here is the perspective that you bring in matters a lot. A lot of times we don't allow ourselves to understand or to process that. And it can be very difficult because you don't know. Right? A lot of times we have this self-doubt and this fear, this concern that we walk around with, but we can't express it. A lot of times we're afraid, we don't know who to talk to. We feel awkward or embarrassed. So it's hard, right? But what winds up happening is we don't say anything and we just keep it to ourselves, and we're so self-conscious that we look around and we think all this bad stuff is happening against us. Meanwhile, it's all just neutral stuff, man. Everyone's in their own world. They're worried about their own things. Everyone else has their own stuff going on. But because we are so caught up in this perspective that we carry, we view it and we receive it, and it reinforces this negative perspective that we have in our minds, and we wind up digging ourselves further into a hole. So the thing that I want to give you this weekend is I want to give you a trigger. A lot of people don't think about triggers in the positive sense. We think about triggers in the negative way. We think about when we hear a certain word, a certain phrase, maybe a certain politician, maybe a certain whatever it is, right? There are certain things that come up that will trigger you to think a certain way. They will trigger you to fall into that negative mindset because they either strike a nerve for you, something that you've dealt with in the past that you're still dealing with, or it just is a topic of conversation that is unsettling to you that you don't want to dive into. But we don't often think about triggers in the positive sense. Or you don't often think about, hey, anytime I smell this smell, it brings me back to this positive experience of my childhood. Right? I'm sure if you sit and think, there's a certain smell that you can relate to maybe your grandparents' house, or your mom cooking you breakfast on a Sunday morning. Or maybe there's a certain song that comes on that brings you back to a positive experience in your childhood, or great time you had in college with your significant other. Right? When that one song comes on and it instantly brings you back to that moment. Those are positive triggers. Okay, but we don't often associate those with intention. And what I mean by that is, it's not often in our day-to-day that we use those positive triggers to change our perspective. Right? We just happen to hear that song or happen to smell that smell, and we get brought back to that positive place, and we carry on with our day. Right? So what I want to recommend for you is this: being intentional with your positive triggers. Whether that is going back to that song, going back to that smell, going back to that routine, going back to that whatever it is. I'll talk more about that in a second. But when you're in a mental space that is not beneficial for you, when you're sitting there with self-doubt, with worry, with concern, when you got some anxiety going on, I want you to repeat that trigger back. Not just wait for it to magically show up, not just wait for that song to magically come on, but do it intentionally. Play the song. Go for a walk if that's one of your triggers. Right? Snap. You've heard me snap a bunch of times. If snapping becomes your trigger, let that be your thing. Whatever it is. Could be humming, could be whistling, could be singing a song, could be doing jumping jacks. You create these triggers over time. But you can use them to put yourself back in a positive spot. That now, instead of walking in that party thinking everyone's talking bad about you, you're walking in with that positive or at least neutral perspective where you're not worried by the things going on. You're not fazed by the stuff going on because, again, none of it really is about you in the first place. But when you can go into every situation with that positive perspective, it allows you to be present, it allows you to show up, it allows you to fend off all the other concerns that are going to attack you, the doubt, the worry, the anxiety, the criticism. It's not really there. It's just that negative perspective that you carried into it is making a lot of stuff appear real. So what do I mean when I talk about building positive triggers? If you're in a good mood, naturally, things are going your way, you're in the flow state, reinforce that with a trigger. Again, you want to make it snapping, you want to make it jumping jacks, whatever it is, you're building the association. So when you are starting to naturally find yourself in these positive, happy moods where things are going your way and everything is great, I don't care what it is. Pick something for yourself. I have a rubber band on my wrist. I've had it on for like 24 years. Snap it. Let that be your reset. I don't care what it is. You can pick your thing. Whether it's a song you listen to, an activity, a word, a phrase, something. It's yours and yours alone. But start to reinforce that when things are going good, when you're happy, when something's going great, pull that trigger in. And what you're going to start to do is you're going to start to build that association with that activity, the snap, the song, the sound, the scent, with that positive perspective. Okay, when you need that mood boost, you can lean on that. You can use that to reset yourself. One of the ones I love to do is to go for a walk. I go for a walk literally every day. I use that time to reflect, to think. I cannot tell you how many times I've been frustrated, in a mood, upset, something on my mind. I go for a walk, come back, much better spot. Almost every time. Now, there's times where I'll go for a walk where maybe I don't happen to need the mood boost at that time, and I come back in sort of the same neutral spot that I was. But I never have come back worse. Never once. In 220 straight days, never once have I come back in a worse state. I'll either maintain the same positive attitude, or I will come back from having a negative attitude, from being pissed off, from being stressed, from being frustrated, in a better spot, because I have that reset. I know I can go, no matter what's going on, go, do my, little activity, come back and be in a better spot. So what I want for you is I want you to start thinking intentionally about what those are in your life. Now, you might have some, right? There might already be some songs, scents, sounds, whatever they are, activities that bring you to a more positive spot. If you have them, great. Write them down, recognize them, know what they are. If you don't, start building them. Start thinking intentionally about when you're in that good flow state, when you're in that good mood, building that positivity, building that spot where you can associate the snap, the song, the humming, whatever it is, with that positive attitude. So when you need it, you can pull it out of your bag of tricks and give you that reset, right? Because that reset, that positive perspective is so important. The attitude that we carry through life with. It's the whole reason why I have this. It's the whole reason why I do the Mindset Monday episodes, to give you that perspective to go through the week. And I do it literally every week. This is not like a one and done thing, right? That's got to be important to understand too. Every freaking week, we go through and we refresh. And that's not to say you can't do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But at least once a week, we're going through and we're giving ourselves that positive reset. And it's very important. And especially as you're starting to kind of walk through this journey, no matter how far along you are at it, right? Even the most positive, polished professional people still go through this. Okay? But as you're a newbie, as you're a beginner, as you're starting to kind of walk this out, you're going to need it more. Okay? And don't be ashamed by that. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of where we are right now, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. You're going to need these experiences, these resets, these positive triggers, these affirmations, these times together where you can reset and give yourself that positive perspective, to give yourself the tools that you need to succeed. That's what this is about. You're growing yourself, you're growing your life. So I don't want you to think about, man, I feel so bad because I had to go resort to that. And how fortunate am I to be able to go do that and reset my day? It's a great thing. And how fortunate, how blessed are you to know that that's a thing for you? Because there's people walking around who don't have that consciousness of what that positive trigger is in their life. So when you can create that positivity on demand, it's like a superpower. Like you're in a bad spot, you can pull out the magic potion from your backpack and instantly solve all your problems. And I know that sounds overly dramatic, right? Because you're not really solving anything, but you're just changing your mood. But let me tell you something, the mood that you bring changes everything. So no matter what's going on in the outside world, because we can't control it, we can't control what's going to happen to us, but we can control how we react to it. And when you bring a positive perspective, when you bring a positive attitude to it, it's going to be infinitely easier than bringing negativity, bringing frustration, bringing anxiety, bringing depression. I'm not saying those things, you're never going to feel it in your life ever again. Okay, you're going to have to deal with those. But the thing that I'm trying to give to you today is a way to combat those, right? I want to give you the tools to be able to fight those, not just say, oh man, a bad mood happened to hit, now I'm just going to sit with it until tomorrow. No. Let yourself have a bad 10 minutes, but don't let yourself have a bad day. Know what tools you need, what activities, what positive triggers that you can use in your own life to help you reset. You get a bad 10 minutes because you had a frustrating thing happen to you? Cool. Own it. Then know what to do next. Know what that positive trigger is and how to reset yourself so you can let it be, right? Feel the feeling, but then leave it in the past and move forward. That's what I want for you. I want you to be able to experience life know how to deal with things when they come up, right? Because life is not perfect. It's not pretty. Sometimes it's chaotic. Most of the time it's chaotic. And that's what I want for you, is to be able to have that tool in your tool belt. So all these little episodes is just little tools in your tool belt. Perspectives, ideas, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them. These are ways that you can help yourself level up. And that's what today is. So think about what your positive triggers are going to be. Start building those in your life. Right? I'd love to hear what they are for you. If you have some ideas, drop them in the comments. I would love to read them and talk to you more about them. I think it's fascinating, to be honest with you. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go forward, be positive, and I will see you on Monday for Mindset Monday. And, again, just want to let you know I appreciate you and all the work that you have been doing so far to help continue to bring this show to more people, because I truly enjoy serving. I love having these conversations. I love helping people, and I love seeing people live a better life. I get so much joy from seeing people feel better, from releasing the crap. Right? This is not about payment. It's not about money. For me, it's the satisfaction knowing that you're living a better life. You've got the tools in your tool belt that you're not doing alone. It's about collaborating on that success together. That's what it's about for me. And I thank you for playing a part in that. And even if you don't like and share it, even if you sat here and just listened to me talk to you, you shared this time together and you walk out with just a little bit of different perspective, we win. We win. Our culture, our community is a little bit better today because a couple people are a little bit more positive. And I know it's going to be a fight. I understand it's an uphill battle, and there's a lot of frustrating and just depressing things going on in the world. We can sit here and say, boo-hoo, sucks, or we can do something about it. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing by giving this show. That's what you're doing by listening to it. So congratulations to yourself for being a positive person, for doing something better for yourself. And go rock the rest of your weekend.